I'm your host. Hello, I'm Dr. Bob Lee, and you're watching Open, the only live interactive program that brings the Bronx and New York City straight to your TV set. Stay connected to us through social media at Bronxnet TV. Leading things off, here we go. On October the 14th, the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, they're going to be holding their fight. It's a walk to fight suicide and raise mental health awareness in the Bronx. And joining us with a preview, we have the board chair of the NYC chapter, Dionne Monsanto. We welcome you to the show.
Thank you.
Dionne Monsanto is in the house. Now, tell us about how did you get involved in this?
Briefly, June 29th, 2011, I lost my daughter to suicide. She was 15 years old, and she lived and died with suicide. So we did our first walk in 2009 when she was alive, after her first attempt.
Any indication that there was a problem or something going on?
There was.
Because sometimes there's some signs and sometimes you can't see any signs.
And that's very true. We said sometimes it's hard. There's lots of warning signs. And we did have a lot of signs. She was in therapy. She was on medication. But sometimes even with all that, you know, on that particular day for her, the trigger was just a breakup. It's something she'd been thinking about, something she'd been trying. We got her to live a few years longer than her first attempt. But there are lots of different signs. They talk, there's mood. If you see someone not doing something they love, someone eating too much, sleeping too much, sleeping too little, you know, just a big change in the personality. Those are some of the signs.
Was there any bullying involved in school or anything?
She had bullying. I also had identified as being by, there was a big bullying incident at her high school. We had to change her phone number, keep her home from school some days, and lots of the national things that are happening that don't keep our kids safe, subtle aspects.
So based on this and other things that you've seen around you, you started this organization?
I didn't start this one. There's
got
another
involved.
organization. I got involved. Yes, I did get involved, and I grew from being a volunteer to being the board chair for the New York City chapter. Really glad to be here. So I live in Manhattan. I was raised in the Bronx, and making sure that we, you know, just not Bronx residents and New York residents, but people of color know that it impacts our community, because sometimes feel like it's not something that's in our community. So I like being the spokesperson, so they see it's not just them, it's us, it's everyone.
Is this really big in our community?
I looked for stats based on ethnicity, and I couldn't find them. Most of our statistics are based on age. And within my daughter's range for that year when she died, it was the third leading cause of death for ages 14 to 24. And it's gone to second leading cause of death for college students, and that's important since we're at Lehman College. But so many different things. So within America in general, it's the 10th leading cause of death for the country.
Tell us about what the organization is doing, some of the services you provide.
One of the things I brought with me, and I can leave some, but we have lots of educational programs. So one is called More Than Sad. Another one is called Talk Saves Lives. So various folks in the organization and in the community are trained in these things and go out into the community, church, work, office, school, and can present and make sure people are aware. There are films, there are little handouts. Like when we speak, we partner with the police department, so when we speak there, we have these little handouts called Talk Saves Lives. And in them, just what you asked about, they talk about those things, some of the health factors, environmental factors, historical factors, what you can do, talking to someone, noticing their behaviors and their moods, and really importantly, supporting advocacy, because you know, money makes a big difference in where you are with this. Hence the walk and advocating nationally to make sure there are more funds to increase awareness and research. Because for 30 years now, we've been the leading national not-for-profit organization that's been funding, I wrote it down, preventing suicide through research, education, and advocacy to reach out to people that have mental health disorders and are impacted by suicide.
Any good news stories where, you know, people have come out of it, you know, they wanted to do that,
they
wanted to end their lives, and now they're working with your organization, helping others to prevent suicide?
I cannot think of her name. I think it's Taryn. I think she's in California, and she's in one of the films we've done, because we have a sect a section called people with lived experience to what
Yeah.
you're saying. You've had an attempt, and thankfully you lived, and now you're working to make
Help
sure other
others.
people live. So we
Yeah.
have a few people nationally in different chapters that are doing that.
Oh,
A lot
that's
of us
deep.
are survivors of loss, and a lot of people survived their attempts and made it a way of living and being to help others.
Help others get what they need out of life, and find those things that are triggers.
Yeah, and
To
make
a
sure other
suicide.
people are aware. Because I think as a parent, we're often told, oh, it's a teenager, oh, they're moody, oh, they'll grow out of it. But you have to pay attention to all of those little things, because
Yeah.
it's very difficult when it doesn't work and you find out it wasn't them just being a teenager.
Well, what you know now, would you have done things differently back then? What are some of those things that you think you would have changed?
That's a hard one.
Yeah, I know.
Because I work to make sure that I don't feel guilty, and knowing that with the information I had then, I did everything I could. But I literally had this conversation with someone like a week or two ago, and it's just like even getting a pet. Like a lot of people have a reason for living because they have a pet. Partner of mine started an organization in my daughter's name, and she has bipolar 2 disorder, and she often says that having her daughter, now I wouldn't recommend my 15-year-old child have a child, but for someone older, her son is the reason she lives. And my daughter loved helping other people, tutoring. I always had her in volunteer projects, and really more of that. And never resting.
Yeah.
It's hard always being vigilant. You know, it's almost like I'm a soldier, you know, and with her death, it's the PTSD, because that day I was overly confident that I was fine, because she had a volunteer activity planned the next day. She was seeing a friend that day. So I was like, and we were going to see Cirque du Soleil. So I'm like, I'm great. For the next 3 days,
Yeah.
she's got something to look forward to. But something just threw her off
That's a
that
fight,
day, and I
yeah.
wasn't home. So it was a tough, tough fight, and she really tried hard every day.
What would you tell others who are contemplating suicide?
It gets better. It gets better. There's a
I'm
reason
going to
to
give
live.
you a camera, and I want you to reach out to the people.
Okay.
Maybe you have somebody in our audience who's contemplating that route. Maybe you can reach out to them. Take this camera right here.
You are here for a purpose. So if there's anyone possibly considering ending their life, I can't tell you when, I can't tell you how, I can't tell you who, but I can absolutely say with time and effort, there's help, there's support, there are lines, and your life is valued and important. Even if you can't see it right now, the world exists as it is right now because you're here. Share your story, let other people know. Talk itself saves lives, so talking to someone may let them know what you're going through, and they'll help you get the resources that you need. We need you here to make a difference in this world.
Yes. And give us some information where we can reach you.
Okay, for me, we have our website. So there's the New York City chapter, so afsp.org, and you look up Dionne Monsanto. So I'll give you my direct email address is Dionne, DIONNE, AFSPNYC @gmail.com. I
Thank you.
respond to my emails in less than 24 hours.
And thank you for all the wonderful work that you're doing in the community to
Yes.
let people know that,
Yeah.
you know, there's another way.
Yeah, October
You're helping out.
14th, I need all the Bronx folks to come walk with us there.
There you go. All right, and they can go to that website to check out, get
Yes,
the rest of the information.
afsp.org.
All right, Board President, American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, Dionne Monsanto. Let's give her a big round of applause, everybody. There you go.
Thank you.
All right,
Thank you,
thank
Bob.
you so much. We have to take a quick break right here, but we'll be right back with more information next.